Hello and welcome to the Money Compass.
In each episode, we will be preparing you for your journey through the world of finance and helping you tick off the destinations on your financial itinerary.
Pack your bags and prepare for takeoff as you navigate your way to financial success.
I'm joined today by the lovely Kate Ley, and I'm hoping you're going to tell me a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Okay, well, the exciting world of mortgages. As I said, so my name is Kate and I work under the umbrella of MCB Financial Services in Norwich. I advise on mortgages and protection. Not only that, it's then into the likes of expats, development, finance and bridging. So it's sort of quite an array of products that I have available to me.
That sounds like a massive array of different things. So what on earth made you decide to be a mortgage advisor? How did you get into it?
Well,
it sounds like a love
yeah.
story.
Well, you go through college, don't you? And your parents are always saying, oh, you're really good with numbers and you should do this, you should do that. You do completely the opposite of what they actually want you to do. So I sort of did my own thing and did travel and tourism. But then after, probably I grew up a little bit. And at the age of 24, 25, I thought, right, okay, I need to get, I want to get more qualifications behind me. And I saw an advert for a position as an advisor. I thought that could actually be really interesting. It's helping people, getting people on their property ladder as such. And off I went, and I've loved it ever since.
Fantastic. So you mentioned lots of different areas that you obviously look at to do with mortgages. Do you have kind of one specialist area or one particularly favourite area, or is it just mortgages in general?
I wouldn't say there's an actual particular area. I do like the detailed cases, but then at the same time, I love to help people who, moving into their first home or move into their next home because they want to extend their family. So there's all different types, but I think more recently I've got into the development finance side of things and bridging finance because that's very interesting in itself, and especially with what's happening at the moment out there. There's certainly a lot going on, and we need more houses built at the end of the day.
Indeed. And I take it they're then big cases that you're looking at. They're not kind of a normal small mortgage for a few £100,000. You're talking millions on those sorts of things, are you? Or
they're smaller, the smaller millions, I should say.
Yeah.
But then there's also people who are looking on the bridging finance side of things to get more into investment.
Mm-hmm.
So they're looking to buy and sell the properties.
Right.
And also in relation to purchasing properties from auctions and looking for investment properties, so they keep them for themselves and rent them out. Again, there's shortage of rental properties.
Wow. So lots of different types of things. So you mentioned first-time buyers being an area that you particularly like. Do you have any advice for someone who's not yet on the property ladder, kind of what they should do and how they should look about kind of getting onto the property ladder?
Yeah, I think the main things for first-time buyers is to certainly be aware of your credit profile.
Mm-hmm.
Keep an eye on that. So, keep in relation to an Experian or Equifax, keep looking at those. And then save, that's a big thing. Definitely save up as much deposit as you possibly can. Bank conduct, that is a big thing that the lenders are looking at. So make sure you're not going over your overdrafts. You haven't got any bounce direct debits or anything of the sort. If you have any credit, make sure you always pay on time. Don't even have a day late on your credit card. You think it may be fine, but that is quite detrimental when it comes to lenders, especially at the moment.
Wow. I didn't realise they actually went into that much detail of knowing all of those things.
Yes, they certainly do nowadays.
Wow. They track you down and find out everything then.
Yeah.
So you mentioned a deposit, save. Would you say there's an ideal amount of deposit, like a minimum that you should have? Because I know mortgages, you can get them 5% deposit and things like that, but is there an ideal amount that you should be looking for?
I think the ideal amount is, if you can get more, the more is better, because of course you're then going to benefit from a lower interest rate,
mm-hmm.
and it'll help you with the affordability side of things. But you can extend the term now, 35, 40 years to keep it low initially. So deposit wise, 10% is probably more ideal, but there are 5% products coming back out in the market now. and they're not a million miles away from the 90% at the moment, and at the moment we're seeing interest rates reducing.
Really?
Yeah.
So even though there's talk that interest rates might rise for inflation and all sorts of things, you're seeing the mortgage rates fall?
Yeah, the mortgage rates are certainly falling at the moment, and there seems to be a lot more competition in the market, which is great for their home movers and for those looking to remortgage at the moment.
So what would you say is kind of the typical interest rate that you could expect on a mortgage? I'm sure there's obviously a huge variation depending on what sort of mortgage it is and how much deposit and all those sorts of things, but kind of typical, what would you say is a...
Typical, I don't think there is a typical at the moment, because it's sub 1% all the way through to over 3 to 3.5%. But as a rule of thumb, I'd say if you're looking at the 95% market, they're over 3%, so probably more sort of likely 3.2, 3.5. 90%, you're under 3% then, but then you can go to the other end of the scale. If you've got 40% equity or deposit available, then that's when it's sub 1% at the moment.
Wow, which is incredibly low.
Yeah.
I know I go out and speak to clients and they say about interest rates. When I bought my house, it was 15%.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm sure you get plenty of stories from all sorts of people.
Yes.
I think that's a nice thing, isn't it, about seeing clients, is it's not just the mortgage that you're putting in place for them, it's the story behind it and
yes,
everything that goes with it and all the tales of why they're moving, and it's exciting.
Yes, getting to know them, which is really nice.
Definitely. So in the news at the moment, I've seen it lots and I'm sure other people have, about property prices going up. Where do you see the markets going with properties?
Oh wow, $1 million
Big
question. It is, isn't it? It's nuts. And strangely enough, I was speaking to a estate agent today, a valuer, and even asking them, they just say, they could walk into a property, and whereas 24 months ago they could say, yes, we think it will go for this, then all of a sudden they've got 16 people per property because there's such a shortage as well. The question is it actually higher than what it really is at the moment? Mm-hmm. Are properties being overvalued? But we don't know. But it's because there's such a short demand, people are going to pay because they want to move and they want to get into their first home as well. So I think it's a very difficult question to ask, if I'm honest with you. I'd hope it'll balance out soon.
Do you foresee a crash though? Do you see the property prices coming down, or do you think they're going to...
I think it depends on the area.
Right.
And I'm seeing a lot more investors coming back into the market. And depending on whereabouts in the UK, holiday let. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of holiday let inquiries at the moment. But it's all different areas. I'm not necessarily seeing drops of any sort as yet. And will it drop? It always does eventually, doesn't it? But then it bounces back up.
So you're going to say it's kind of a more localised thing where it's going to happen rather than a kind of UK-wide...
I think so, personally.
Yeah, that's
no
fine. I'm not
expert.
holding you to it, don't worry. But it's just kind of your opinion on what you think is going to happen.
Yeah.
So if it was a client that was self-employed, had their own business, what sort of things would a mortgage lender be looking for as a mortgage advisor from them to help them get onto the property ladder or move home? What sort of proof of earnings and things are they going to need?
Yeah, so it's all different in comparison to how you're set up. So if you're a sole trader, then they'll be looking for as an average, the last 2 years' tax returns. Mm-hmm. If you're limited company, then again, it's lender to lender. So the majority will look at your dividends and your salary. Some will look at your net profit and your salary. And I think what's good with lenders at the moment, they're looking to lend and they're looking at different ways how they can help clients maximise the capital they have available to them.
I see. So is it a case that if you tried for a mortgage with one provider, they might not accept it on the information they've got, but if you went elsewhere, based on their criteria, it's quite possible that you could still get a mortgage?
Yeah, exactly that. I've got a client at the moment we were working on the salary and the dividends. It didn't work that way, so we then looked at a lender who looks at the net profit after corporation tax plus their salary, and we can get them what they're looking for. So it's great. It's just if you have a good broker and they know what to look for and know how to look at your income and look at different ways, there tends to be always a way.
Very good. So just because you might not have the right information one way, it doesn't mean to just give up. Keep looking, use the right person to
Absolutely.
to look at those options.
Definitely.
I'm going to ask another opinion here. What's your opinion on the Help to Buy schemes that the government have?
So there's different ones available at the moment. I think if they're used in the right way, I think they're really good. What I do see though is that if the clients, they have actually got the deposit, they tend to just go on a standard mortgage anyhow. The shared ownership scheme, of course, that's great if you've got a lot less capital available for you, and you're just buying a certain percentage of the property. But then, of course, you then have to allow for the rent you're going to be paying on top of the mortgage as well. The Help to Buy scheme, where you put your 5% in, and then up to between sort of another 5 to 20% from the government, their loan scheme. Again, that's great. And they work well in the areas where there's a real price increase going on at the moment, and it's pushing people and their affordability. So again, they're great. And I think the main thing is you have to understand, read into it, look it up, and make sure you understand what you're getting yourself into, because they're all great schemes in their own ways.
Is it true, the rumour I've heard, that it can drag things out and take a lot longer when doing the mortgage if you're using one of those schemes, or is that just a rumour that's complete rubbish, basically?
I personally haven't had any issues at all. Again, it might be more down to lender at the moment. I mean, everybody's starting to come back into the office, so it might be where they haven't got the staff in the office as yet. That has a big impact at the moment. But no, I wouldn't necessarily say that. I think it's down to how busy the lenders are at the moment.
That's fair enough. Well, it's a good rumour to get rid of.
Yeah.
So, obviously, a lot of people previously would have been buying abroad, and it's probably slowed down a little bit now, obviously not being able to go abroad. But obviously, you said you work with expats and things like that. Is it easy to get a mortgage for a property abroad, or is it not something?
Getting a property abroad, I mainly help those who secure it against property in the UK.
Right.
Because there are specialists, real specialists, a few firms out there who just specifically look at mortgages abroad. But for the expats living abroad and buying in the UK, the market is definitely buoyant at the moment, and it's starting to pick up again. The lenders are starting to come back.
If there was anybody that wanted to contact you personally, and they've got more questions about a mortgage, how they work, or are looking to do a mortgage on their own property, how would be the best way for them to contact you?
To contact myself is through MCB Financial Services. They can call in. You can always email me as well. No problems at all.
We'll pop the details of your email and everything on the podcast. So if anyone wants to get in contact with you, they'll have your details to hand.
Perfect.
So we mentioned properties abroad. I'm not suggesting you have a property abroad, but I am wondering, what is your favourite holiday destination? It's not a trick question.
No, I think it's probably because we always talk about it. It's probably got to be Thailand.
Thailand? What is it about Thailand then?
It's just, well, if you go to one of the smaller islands, of course, not in Bangkok. I like the culture. The people are friendly, really friendly. And it's just so chilled out. And I think when everybody's the same at the moment, aren't they? It's just work. And I just like to, us as a family, we go over there, we'll go snorkeling, we'll go diving, and it's just chilled, and you just forget everything. Sitting on the beach.
Like another world.
It is, yeah, complete another world. And then you come home again, unfortunately.
Not unfortunately, because you come back to help someone with their mortgage.
Yes, of course.
That's fantastic, Kate. Thank you so much for joining us. And if anyone wants to get in touch with Kate, we'll share the details for how you can get in touch. And I'm sure we'll have Kate back in future and be able to ask her some more difficult questions about mortgages, get her mortgage brain working.
Well, thank you very much.
Share some more information with you. And with that, we've completed today's episode. We hope you have enjoyed following along with us today and taking another step closer to a financially secure future.
If you've enjoyed today's podcast, you can head over to themoneycompass.co.uk where you can find out more information, hints and tips from today's episode.
If you'd like to get more involved, share your own experiences and learn from a friendly community on a similar journey to you, why not join us in our Facebook group, The Money Compass, where we will support you in navigating your way to financial success.
Thank you for listening and see you next time.